One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm standing at the crossroads. I'm feeling like a lost soul. Don't know where I wanna go, but all I know is I wanna be free. They telling me to let it be, but that just ain't in me, no. Jealousy and envy, but all I see is I wanna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Don't let it get the most of me. Eventually, I'm gonna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna be free. Let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I told them take their aim off me. Stop trying to get a name off me. If they would just let me be, I'm gonna be free. I told them take some chains off me and throw away the locks and keys. If they would just let me be, eventually I'm gonna be free.
They're back.
Diamond Fact is back. That's right.
What up, everybody? What up, everybody?
What up, though?
How's it going there?
Man, 7 days done went by real quick, so we back on here again for another episode of the Diamond Effect. I'm Mark Bishop. We got Mike Ball, and we got Aaron Olinger. And today we're going to talk about we're going to jump into quite a few different parts on this. So we're going to talk about constitutional carry. We're going to talk about CCWs. We're going to talk about permitless carry. We're going to talk about open carry. We're going to talk about the do's, the don'ts, the good parts, the bad parts. We're going to kind of put it all into some kind of perspective to where everybody has a clear understanding as exactly what these terms mean, how it affects you, which would 9 times out of 10 keep you from getting into something that you shouldn't get into because you just didn't know, because dealing with this is not a situation where you can say, oh, you know what, I just didn't know. They don't care. They still gonna lock you up if you're wrong. So we're gonna get into all that stuff in a minute. But before we jump into this, like I said, a week that went by. What y'all been up to? What you got going on? Whatever.
Aaron, you go ahead first.
Well, I had a gun show on my hometown of Dayton this weekend. So I was over there selling products Saturday and Sunday, earning a living. And I just been relaxing since. I've got another one this weekend in Butler County. So I'm just waiting on time to pass and go back to work over the weekend again.
Yep. The crazy cycle that we find ourselves, huh? But
Right.
That's what's up.
yeah, you know, for
What
me
about you,
on
man?
my side, it's not been too much on the aspect of like moving around too much because I obviously can't. I'm right now, like I'm limited to one leg. I have been for like the last 2 weeks, week and a half, maybe almost 2 weeks now. But nonetheless, what's going on right now is the DNC. So right now, I'm super glued to the DNC. Basically, all what's going on the outside of the DNC, where all the riots and protests were going on, and then same thing with the inside of reporting of the DNC. So it's been a long amount of research. I mean, I'm investing over 9 hours a day watching not only the DNC live, but 3 hours prior to the damn thing, and then reviewing the footage on the show. So it's been crazy, man. How about you, though, Archbishop?
Man, this week has been I don't know. It kind of went both ways. I mean, some stuff was good, some of it was shitty, but
I feel that.
the good parts was, you know, like I said, we still been still filming on that second movie, Standing on Business.
Nice.
Matter of fact, we got to go tomorrow and do some more filming.
Oh shit.
Last night, you know, the first movie that we was doing, Riding Dirty, they had a couple riding scenes that they needed to get in. You know, some pack riding where they had the drones out. You know,
They're doing
watching
the
you
whole
go down
real
the
deal
road.
shit.
Right.
Mhm.
On the back of the trucks and the whole deal while we going down the road. So that was cool. They're planning on having a actual trailer out at the end of the month. So as soon as I get it, I'll put it out to where everybody can see the trailer, and then they have the premiere on that on October the 20th here in Florida. So
That's dope. So you were just recording last night.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So they got that one finished, and then tomorrow, like I said, I jump over to standing on business, and then I just heard last night that after that one is over, there's a series that's out that they have out. Y'all might want to go in there and check it out. It's called Line 'Em Up. It's a series that just came out about probably about a week ago. And they're gonna start filming season 2 here soon. And
Think you're
already
gonna
got a
get in.
call.
Yeah, I was about to say you got the call. Huh?
Yeah, I already got a call about that one.
That's good.
And then there's another biker movie that's gonna be made here within, I think, maybe December-ish, January, somewhere around in there is when they're gonna start. And I got a plug on that one too. So it's some
just
it's
like
moving.
Steve Easy says right here. You famous yet, AB? So we can, we definitely already can say that we knew him way back. You know what I mean? Before all that shit, right? You know what I mean?
Man, I'm trying to, bro. I'm really just one day at a time. You know what I mean? I'm thankful for the opportunity. You know what I mean? And humble.
Yeah, that's amazing. But you must be good at it, obviously. You know what I mean? So
that's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say, right? Yeah, that's a good thing. That's why the calls keep coming, right?
Right. I mean, obviously that I'm doing something right, obviously. So
yep.
Let's just keep it at that. And you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it kind of all happened fast.
Yeah. It does do that. The industry, man, it'll just take you in, and all of a sudden you're now every moment you're just sitting there like, oh shit, you know, you're going from scene to scene or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. That's awesome, man. I'd love to hear it.
So we're gonna make it do what it do.
Yeah, we need to get an autograph before you get too big. You know what I mean? So just like Miss Lotus says, that's right.
Yeah, but soon as that trailer hit, was supposed to hit by the end of the month, then I'm going to I'm gonna put it out to where everybody can see it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna play it on the show every week until the premiere. So that
Oh
way
shit!
everybody can get a chance to
Yeah, that's
to
for
see it
real.
before it actually comes out. So, but let's
No,
hit this
I
topic.
want to watch it. I want to watch it nonetheless. But yes, let's go ahead and move
I think
into the
and it's
topic.
gonna be good. I mean, it's gonna be good. I mean, based on what I've already seen, and no, I'm not just saying that because I'm in it. I'm saying based on what I've seen and that the stuff that takes place in it, it's a pretty good movie.
And a good
movie.
script to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But
right.
so we're gonna jump into this now. Before we jump into this, let me say this. I need to put this disclosure out. So to let everybody know that this is a discussion between us three. We're nobody's lawyer. We're not, but we're gonna tell you what's in writing.
Right.
The do's and the don'ts, the ins and the outs. Okay. Now,
And regionally it'll be
know,
different. State-wise it'll be different. You
right,
know, yeah.
right. So you need to do your own due diligence, check with your state and local to find out the particulars and all that. You know what I mean? Now, this is just what we're talking about is basically the across the board stuff. But you know, every state has a little something that they done tweaked into it. So you may want to check on that prior to.
That's right.
So don't bust no cap on nobody's ass until you check that out. So
yeah. Stop the cap right now.
Stop the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
So the first one we're gonna hit is the constitutional carry. That's the first one we're gonna hit. So, and for those of you who don't know what a constitutional carry is, it's also known as a permitless carry. Carry a concealed firearm without paying a fee, acquiring a permit within your own state. There are 29 states that has constitutional carry written to allow residents to carry a concealed handgun and not have to have a permit.
Yeah, that's the majority of the states right there. That's a lot.
Right.
I didn't know that many, but yeah.
So the main advantage of a constitutional carry is that it streamlines the process of carrying a firearm and lets people exercise their rights without government interference, per se. You don't have to take a training class, written tests. You don't have to submit an application with your state. You just need to buy a firearm and carry it legally.
That's it.
So now you know there's good points to that, and then there's bad points about that. So now Aaron, which a lot of people don't know, used to teach classes for CCW. And so he knows the ins and out when it comes to that. So I'm gonna hit you with the first question, Aaron. And the first question is what's the pros and cons dealing with constitutional carry?
Well, like you said, I mean, the key wording is going to be anyone who can legally own and possess that firearm can carry it.
Yep.
Its strengths is also its weaknesses, because there's a rule in law that goes, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You have no training with a weapon whatsoever. You don't have to show any sort of competency or proficiency, which that's a problem in itself. You know, no use of force laws, when you can use it and when you can't. 9 times out of 10, your emotions or your morality is going to get the best of you. And when it does, it's going to end up with you going to jail. And then another problem with constitutional carry, you cannot take that gun across state lines. You're limited to within the state. So some of the very things that makes us good as far as streamlining and being something quick and easy to do is also the main part of its weakness. When you have an untrained public running around with guns, assuming they know laws, you got a dangerous combination.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So let's say that I'm in a state that has constitutional carry and I have a firearm.
Mhm.
And let's say I'm going to another state that's also constitutional carry. Would that imply to me? Like, being the fact that I'm going from this state that's constitutional carry to this state that's constitutional carry, can I do that?
No, you cannot. Your gun rights are limited to the state that you're in. If I'm in Ohio, I cannot take that gun into Michigan or Kentucky or whatever. So I'm limited to only the state of Ohio. But a lot of people assume that because another state has constitutional carry, that as long as they stay within those states, they can travel across the United States. That is part of the ignorance of the law.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that would be more towards, if you wanted to travel from state to state, you need to actually have a CCW. Correct?
That would be correct.
Okay. Okay.
And
So
and
go ahead.
only in the states that will allow it, because there are states that don't allow that.
I was
That
just
don't
going to
look-
ask. I was just going to ask this very thing. So, real quick. So, if you're traveling, let's say from Alabama to Georgia, which are both, open carry, kind of thing, can you do that just going from state to state like that, or do you need to actually be confined to the state that you are living in?
You have to be confined to the state that you're living in. If you're in Alabama and you've got in your constitutional carry, you have no rights with that gun when you cross that state line.
I did not know that.
You're not even supposed to take it across state lines.
Yeah, I did not know that. I thought if it's open carry and you're going through open carry, then you're good. But did not know that. Good to know.
A lot of people make that assumption, and that gets a lot of people into trouble. And that's just part of it.
Sure. Interesting.
But then too, you would also think, well, having everybody gonna be walking around with guns at that point.
Mhm.
So
I mean, everyone is down here at
Right,
least. Everyone down
everybody
here
gonna
is.
have one.
They're all carrying. So
yeah, everyone gonna have one. So you gonna now. Here's the thing. Is it a good idea? Is it a good idea to have a constitutional carry? So I would think that, okay, if you don't travel much and you just in your state, it's great. If you plan on going on a trip or something like that,
Now you
9
have to
times
leave
out of
it.
10, right, you're just gonna leave it at the house.
Mhm.
But it's good to be able to have it in the state that you're in. Now, that doesn't mean that you can walk around like Wyatt Earp, because there's other tricks to that as well. As to when you can actually use force as opposed to not. So let me ask you that, Aaron. So dealing with that part there, where knowing when to use force and when not to use force. Okay, so let's say, for instance, say I'm on the road and somebody got this road rage situation. He jump out the car and he just banging on my damn car. He kicking my lights. He banging on my car window. He doing all that. Can I shoot him?
No.
What if he has a firearm in his hand, though?
Well, that could be possible, but I'm going to tell you this. In most road rage cases, in order for you to automatically win, or I don't want to say automatically win, but in order for you to stand a better chance of winning, they must breach the window or the door. They got to either get that door open or they got to break that window. Then that's a different thing. An argument does not constitute use of force.
Right.
You can be arguing through the window, but once they bust that window or they breach that door, now there's an imminent threat and there's imminent danger, and you're going to have to be able to prove that. But if they breach that door and window, you got evidence right there.
So you're telling me I can't pop a dude that is giving me some crazy lip because I get emotional? You're telling me I can't do that?
No, that lands you in jail. I mean, he could be standing outside your car taking a hammer to your car.
It doesn't matter, huh?
It
I did not know that. I did not.
Until
I
you
thought
take
if someone's attacking my car like with a hammer, I would think, yeah, dude, boom. You know what I mean? But theoretically, unless they breach through and they can actually legitimately touch you right then and there, then you're screwed. You have to
right.
wait.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
That's why we're on here to educate people. You don't want to see people end up in jail because their emotions
Right.
or their morality gets the best of them.
Wow. Okay. Hmm.
But let me also say this too and add to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, arguing doesn't constitute that. I mean, if you're getting into an argument with someone, you can't get in your emotions and pull a gun out or open up your shirt and start brandishing that weapon. That's a good way to be charged with menacing or aggravated menacing. Arguing does not constitute imminent danger. So keep that in mind. Don't get in your emotions. Don't get in your feelings or your morality. Think, and it'll keep you out of trouble.
Okay. Now, what about concealed carry? I'm talking to you, Aaron.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you this. Concealed carry is not allowed in about 11 states. Okay. In a concealed carry, you have to qualify. There's going to be a class involved. There's going to be training involved. There's going to be fingerprinting involved. There will be you actually shooting the gun during the class. You will learn how to manipulate the gun. You will learn how to load the magazine if it's clip fed. Magazine fed. You will learn how to load the weapon. You also learn how to unload the weapon to make that weapon safe. So you learn your way around. You're going to get a basic understanding because I've been in the class and you'd be surprised the number of men that don't know how to put ammo into a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them put it in backwards. I've seen them try to jam the clip up in the gun backwards. I've seen all kinds of stuff. And these were guns that they own. These were their weapons.
Yeah, they brought it.
And
Right.
they couldn't even operate the weapon. So you will get a basic understanding. You'll gain a basic proficiency with the weapon. You even shoot at the end of the day to prove that you have an understanding how to aim, proper sight alignment, proper pressure on the trigger, proper grip and stance. You will have a basic understanding of how to use that weapon when you take it. You will also learn use of force and laws in the class. You will get all that. So you get much more training and you get an understanding that could keep you out of jail in case you have to make a certain decision.
Right. Okay. Well, it says I was looking on when we was doing the research on this the other day, and I'd seen something on there where it said that the main benefit of a concealed carry is that it offers more flexibility to the gun owner who wants to travel around with the firearm.
I have heard that part.
And it was often recognized by other states through the what is that word? Reciprocity?
Reciprocity.
Yeah, reciprocity agreement, which allows the permit holders to go to different states. For example, like Michigan. Like Michigan has 39 states where their permit is legal in those
Right.
states. Some states don't have that many. Some states have like 5 or 6. Some have 15, 20.
Yeah, like California's got like majority. If you get in California, you're almost good, which is kind of crazy. But you're still not good in some states, obviously. But yeah, it's kind of radical how that works.
Right. Now, when we talking about here the past couple weeks, we was talking about hackers and stuff like that, and so you would think that a lot of people would rather do the constitutional carry as opposed to the CCW because that keeps your information out of their hands. Would I be right by saying that? Where you got, okay, so basically like this. like right now, there's a lot of privacy and security concerns, especially with gun owners who don't want their information exposed.
Yes.
So it would be more up to them to go for the constitutional carry, where you don't have to tell nobody nothing, and you ain't planning on going nowhere. Like, I'm not planning on leaving Florida. I'm gonna be right here, but I don't want to have to go through all this to where I got to tell them every single thing about me, and they know all my information, as opposed to going this route and doing the training and knowing the rules and all that stuff, and having to do fingerprints and background checks and everything else, and they actually have all this stuff sitting on somebody's mainframe where it could be hacked, like everything else has been hacked here recently. And now here go another data breach where my information is out there.
I can see the point that you're making on that, but the advantage to going the CCW route is, let's say if you decide in the future to make future purchases of firearms, you won't have to go through the whole process. You might have to fill out the paperwork, but as soon as they see you've got a CCW, that's automatic approval to be able to purchase that gun.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back here.
Let me ask you this, Mike.
Sure.
So tell me what you think about this. Now, a lot of people do have CCW. But do you think that having a CCW gives those gun owners like a false sense of security?
I think it definitely could, and even the constitutional carry thing can get you a little hemmed up. I mean, because people think that it's constitutional carry, that you can like carry theoretically, they think that you could put your gun in your pocket or in, theoretically that's now concealed. And so, there's nuances to it. Kind of like how constitutional carry can get you kind of in a messed up situation, just like kind of CCW can, if you don't understand it fully, which I'm even learning to this. I'm someone who's an avid shooter, but even then, like when it comes to laws, man, it's very hard to figure out the exact line of everything. So I definitely can see how people can get hemmed up easily on shit like this.
Okay, now let me ask you this, Aaron. So on the concealed carry, can I put the gun up under my seat?
I'm going to put it to you like this. You're supposed to have the gun properly secured. And at the end of the day, properly secured means bringing it into your home. The last thing that you want is for someone to break into your car when you happen to be out of it, steal your gun, and be running around out there in the public committing crimes with your firearm. And the majority of times that I've heard people get their guns stolen is because they left it in their cars overnight.
Okay. Now I'm meaning like if I'm driving around town or whatever, can I put my gun up under my seat, or do I need to put it in the console or in the glove box?
It's supposed to be properly
if I
secured.
get stopped by the police, which one are they going to accept?
Right.
Me
Like,
having it up
does
under
the mag
seat,
have to
or me
be
having it in
completely,
the console or in the glove box?
like, does the mag need to be like completely removed at that point? Like, do you need to have them separated? Can you have them in the same area? Like, can you have it in arm's reach?
Well, I was told that the gun has to be properly secured and there should not be loaded if you're just transporting it.
So what if I say that is my that's the gun that I use to protect myself? That's something that I'm not just, moving it. I carry it. And
see, at the gun shows, a lot of vendors that leave, especially gun dealers, they're carrying thousands of dollars on them. So most of them are wearing a sidearm. Now, while they're in there at the gun show, because of it being posted, they are not allowed to have a loaded firearm on the premises. I wasn't at the gun show when it happened. I came the next day to set up, but during the setup, a guy came in wearing his gun, was going to put it up on the table to sell with some of the other guns, and he forgot he had a round in the chamber, and he pulled the trigger and shot one of the vendors in the leg.
Mm.
And he's not allowed to do any of the gun shows no more. But the vendors going out to their cars will have their guns loaded while they're on the property. They cannot do that. And that's another thing too. I mean, can I go ahead and cover some of the restrictions on carrying guns, or do you want me to hold that for a little bit later?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. One of the important things that you do is watch the signage on restaurants, bars, different places you're going to. If it's posted, and it should be posted at the door, and it should be a professional looking sign, it will tell you whether or not you're allowed to have it in there. There'd be some signs that would even say any unlicensed guns cannot be on the property, meaning constitutional carry, because you don't have your CCW.
And that's unlicensed, right?
Yeah. Now, you might see a sign that says 51%. People don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, what that means is that 51% of the income that restaurant or business takes in is due to alcohol sales.
Oh, wow.
If it has a 51% or higher sign, you automatically can't bring a gun there.
I've never seen that sign though, but that's something I'm sure, because I've never really looked for it, you know, but now that's something good to know. I think we all should know that.
You can have a CCW and you can't take it to the jails to go visit somebody. All right. Schools, grade schools, colleges and universities. That's a definite no. Bars, no. Courtrooms, police stations. You're not allowed to have a gun there. Governmental meetings, or say
City Hall. Yeah.
Yeah. Federal buildings, not allowed to have it. Airports. And there would be many other places, because again, you got to watch for the signs. And just here recently, I think it was last year. In fact, I got the date. It's October 14th, 2023. There were people that got shot at the Texas State Fair. Okay. And because of that shooting, there's no more CCWs allowed on the premises unless you're either current or past law enforcement.
Oh, wow.
Now, where that sounds good, it also has its drawback, because the criminals are usually criminals of opportunity. They'll see those signs, like you can't have
gun-free zone.
Right. And they'll know that you're going to leave your gun in the car. So they'll break in them cars and steal the guns out of the cars. Or they know that when you come out of the fair to your car, you're unarmed. Your family's unarmed. When you start to go home, they can do a follow home robbery on you, knowing that if they already checked your car and got your gun, or you didn't have one in there, they know that you're totally unarmed and you're a willing target. And the same thing that works for you to make you safe at the fair now makes you an easy target. I mean, anyone knows if you're coming out of a bank, 9 times out of 10, you don't have a gun on you, and you could be carrying large sums of money on you, go into your car, and they can intercept you between the door and your car.
Well, we have brought up California a little bit, Elbow, because I know you came from California yourself. I represent California in that aspect, and knowing how extreme the gun laws are over there compared to where I moved to. So yeah, I have some pretty damn good context. But yeah, we are discussing it too.
Let me say this: you got 11 states that don't recognize CCW, and that's going to be Rhode Island, California, Connecticut, Hawaii, New Jersey, Maryland, Illinois, Montana, Massachusetts, Oregon, and New York.
I was just about to say New York for last. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that's exactly how it goes.
And if you had a permit, California and New York have no reciprocity, where you can carry, if you got a CCW, you can carry across state lines. They do not recognize that. Now, if they issue a permit, it's good in their state, but they will not recognize nobody else's. Now, New York, they're tough on issuing CCW licenses. You've got to be a professional ball player or something, or you got to be some sort of high profile person to be able to just about get a gun in New York or CCW.
Ask anybody in LA County and you know, on the Los Angeles side, it's damn near impossible. I mean, you can do almost anything. You can have someone actively coming after you, and you go to the sheriff's department, try to, you know, get the whole CCW. They will not give it to you, even when your life is in immediate danger. It's crazy.
Now New Hampshire, they don't allow you to have anything over a 380. So if they will issue you a license, it's got to be a 380 or under in caliber.
Wow.
Massachusetts, even though it's the largest state, yeah, even
though
it's
that's all you got.
Yeah, Massachusetts, even though it's the largest state that had all the gun manufacturers there, because the legislation is so anti-gun, a lot of companies moved away from there. And what is interesting is New York, Cali, Illinois, Wisconsin. They got some of the strongest gun laws on records that disarms the public. However, they're the largest for gangs. They're the largest for crime. Because
right, funny how that happens, huh?
Yeah, I mean, outlaws ain't going to obey the law. That's the reason why they call them outlaws, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And by the way, Elbow, Orange County in California, obviously, just for everybody that doesn't know, that's about an hour south of LA. It's the direct county underneath it. And yes, Orange County is more lax about it. They are the only red county of all the West Coast, if you guys didn't know that. It's the only red county of all the West Coast. So yeah, just some funny things to know there. That's why it's easier over there.
Now, wouldn't you think that they would? Okay, now just what you just said there, Aaron, about these states that has the strictest gun laws is the ones that have the most crime.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Illinois,
so, right?
You got L.A., New York, Chicago, right?
Yeah, it's New York, Cali, Illinois, and Wisconsin. They're the largest for gangs.
Yeah, so wouldn't that kind of be like an oxymoron? Like, why would you make the gun laws so strict when your area is one of the worst areas? You know, okay, so your regular citizens can't have firearms, but the crooks got the firearms though. And 9 times out of 10, they got better shit than the cops do. So now, say you just said New Hampshire, you can only have a 380. I mean, shit, right. You might as well just throw a rock at a some bitch then. If that's the case, 380 ain't nothing. You know? So
no, it's not. It's a very small round.
Right. So you got the whole state of New Hampshire, and everybody got 380s. But come on now. The whole state of New Hampshire, all they can carry is 380s.
380 or under.
Man. What's under 3? What a 22?
22.
If you're a law-abiding citizen, that's what you're carrying. If you're not,
slingshot,
you're carrying whatever.
Man, this you see what I'm saying? I mean, I guess sometimes it's cool just being an outlaw, bro. I'm just saying.
Listen, man, that's the way I live my life right there. Fuck it.
Man, I'm telling you, because
I don't advise anybody to do that, by the way. Don't do that.
I mean, just going by the, I mean, like if I lived in New Hampshire and they was like, okay, I could only have a 380. Seriously? Just a 380 for real? You know what I mean? Like I said, I might as well not even have nothing if that's the case. Or you're going to have a whole lot of stab victims, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just asking England all about them stab victims. Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. So it'll be a whole lot of stab victims because ain't nobody about to pull no 380 out. You know, I got a
cool little pocket rocket 380, man. That, you know, you'd be like, all right, that's dope.
Like hell, I got a little small one, little 2-shot Dillinger, 380, but that's just some
mine is
some back off
7. I think mine is 7 on mine.
Yeah, that's just like some back off thing, you know what I mean? But when I pull that thing out, don't see that's a whole different
story. That's a whole different Chopper coming out. Yeah.
That's a whole different story.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But you know what though? In Texas, when you brought up Texas a little bit ago. Now, back in September is when they signed the bill to make Texas a constitutional carry state. And I guess it was like maybe 2-3 days later, it was a situation where somebody came in, held up a gas station, and the perpetrator ended up getting shot because somebody in the store had a gun and he used, the fact that he had constitutional carry. So you got mixed emotions there because some will be like, oh, well, you do it like that. Now everybody gonna walk around with guns. But on the other hand, you got to ask yourself, what if he didn't have a gun in there and this guy here came in to rob the place, and instead of the perpetrator getting hit, maybe he ended up shooting the man or woman behind the counter, or even him. So you got to go either or with that. But I'm gonna shoot this little video right quick for everybody to check it out. And when we finish, I want you two to give me your opinion as to whether you think this man did the right thing or you feel that it was wrong.
Okay.
September 1st marked the first day in Texas where Texas residents were no longer required to have a license to carry a gun. And on September 8th, this happened.
At 6:03 now to more breaking news this morning. A shooting near Hobby Airport. According to HPD, a man shot a suspect who was attempting to rob him. It happened in a gas station parking lot on Airport Boulevard shortly before 11 o'clock. We are told the suspect was hit in the face but is expected to survive. The man who shot the suspect is cooperating with investigators, and at this time, it appears to be a case of self-defense.
Let's say this attempted robbery happened in August and the person who shot this criminal didn't have a concealed carry license, or better yet, was waiting to get approval on his concealed carry license like a good little boy. This would be an entirely different story. Instead of a criminal shot in the face, we'd be talking about an innocent robbed person at best, or an innocent dead person at worst. I remember hearing all of these people screaming bloody murder about Texas passing constitutional carry. People were literally worried about criminals now being able to carry guns without a license. Are we really that naive to believe criminals weren't already carrying guns illegally? The law didn't make it legal for criminals to carry guns without a permit. It made it legal for non-criminals to carry a gun without a permit. If criminals needed permission to break the law, they wouldn't be criminals. These are the stories you don't hear about. If this guy didn't have a gun and was shot by this criminal, the mainstream media would be going on ad nauseum about how we need more gun control laws to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. But no one ever calls the media and the anti-gun lobby out on the stupidity of that logic. Criminals aren't getting concealed carry permits on Monday and then committing robberies on Tuesday. They steal guns, carry them, and then use them to do illegal stuff. The mainstream media goes out of its way not to talk about self-defense shootings because you can't sell more gun control when good people are stopping robberies with their guns. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, almost every major study on defensive gun use has found that Americans use their firearms defensively between 500,000 and 3 million times each year. If you just watch the mainstream media news, you'd swear it never happens. But here it is right here in your face. Literally.
We are told the suspect was hit in the face.
Look, all these moronic politicians get up and talk about how they just want gun control to save lives, yada, 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 yada. But when it's in the middle of the night on a Wednesday and someone is trying to rob you, the only person that's in a position to save your life is you. Gun control laws don't stop criminals, but those same gun control laws force good people to become criminals when they're forced to break dumb gun control laws in order to effectively protect themselves against criminals that weren't stopped by said dumb gun control law.
Good job, Colin Noor. I can't ever say his last name right, but Colin Noor. Shout out to you, man. He knew what the fuck he was talking about. And listen, I've been following that dude forever. Probably the last 6-7 years or something like that. Back when he was really an actual, like one of those number one advocates, I guess, for the NRA. and or one of the spokespersons. I don't believe he's that anymore. He broke off and did his own thing. But yeah, I definitely agree with everything he had to say there.
So what do you think about that, Aaron?
I couldn't hear what he was saying, so I don't know the conditions. The sound kept going in and out, and I couldn't make out what he was talking about or the circumstance that took place. But I do agree that the media portrays anyone using a gun as being a vigilante, and the number of people that use their guns in self-defense, that the amount is far more than those who use it for wrong. So, but the media does not want to cover when people are doing the right thing with them.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Now, I know
Melissa's right here, by the way. She's 100% right. Real quick, she's right. She goes, that makes the rational sense, but unfortunately worth the rational sense when the lawmakers are making these laws. And that's the problem is that they find these little things to be able to make this dividing thing. Yeah, it's rough. Definitely. On one token, you're totally law abiding. Like if this one paper would have came in, let's say 30 days later, whatever, all of a sudden now you're innocent. But you do this and now you're the biggest criminal in the world. I get it.
Right. So what about the ones who was, let's just say, for instance, someone tried to mug you, or, let's say that you was out and, because, any situation could happen at any given time. You don't wake up in the morning saying, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to shoot somebody today.
No, of course not.
Stuff happens.
Yes, it does happen.
At that point in time, you have two things cross your mind. One thing is going to be prevalent in your mind is that no matter what happens here, I'm going home. So either you're going to go on your way, now that may sound harsh, but
say that part again. You either go on your way or what? Because you lagged out.
Either way it go, I'm going home.
Yeah. I'm gonna make it. Right.
Whether you're gonna go on about your business or I'm gonna run through you.
When I go out and I go to the grocery store and I go out to town and stuff like that, I will be coming home. Right.
Yeah. So if you pull out something, or I'm thinking that you about to pull out something, if I have the inkling in the back of my mind that you're going to actually try to do something to me, my natural instinct is to take you down before you ever think about trying to take me. That's just natural instinct. Some people have it, some people don't. Some would actually panic in that type of situation, where you got other ones that would just automatically just jump right to it, that know exactly what to do. So now a lot of those people don't have CCWs for that particular reason. Like you don't want your business out there, this and the third. Now, here's my question to you though. We got all these different gun laws out. Now, the one thing that stood in every gun law that they have is that if you committed a felony, you cannot have a gun. Here's my question. If you had a person, let's say they committed a felony 20 years ago, paid their debt to society, they didn't kill anyone, no one died, that's the reason why they got in trouble. Let's say, for instance, let's say they got caught with a bag of weed, which 15, 20 years ago, that was a felony. Now, recreational. Okay. But you got a felony 20 years ago. Is it fair that person still cannot possess a firearm, even though it's been 20 years, have not been in any trouble with the law since, paid his debt to society, don't owe nobody nothing? Is it fair for him not to be able to own a firearm?
This is a loaded question, and you know it. Absolutely, it's not fair. this is just my take, that I don't think it's fair, especially if it's a non-violent offense, even if it is violent, given the time, I know that you can still try to apply for certain, get your rights back and stuff like that. But even then they make it damn near impossible, where it's like, after you waited your 10 years to get, your clearance, whatever, now it takes another 10 years, it's a forever process, and so they make it unfair. Definitely 1,000%. They treat our criminals like they are the worst people on life itself, just the world. And yet they're really, so most of them aren't, a lot of the worst people are the ones who haven't even been caught yet.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
But me, you know what? Me and Aaron was talking about this earlier today, and I told him, the difference between a felon and an ordinary person. And that's
You
that's
got
'cause the
caught.
ordinary person ain't got caught yet.
Yeah, that's right. Damn right. We all
Because-
break laws, dude. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry to explain it that way, but damn, dude, like absolutely, that is the difference.
See, but you would think though, okay, if you got yourself in trouble,
Sure.
so you got yourself in trouble, you paid your debt to society. Okay, so you didn't sat down somewhere for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. You done got out, you done paid you done paid all your fees, you done did your probation, you did everything that they asked you to do. You done came back out, you've been an active, productive citizen. No trouble. Now you have a family, you have a wife, you have kids. But technically, you can't have a gun in the house. Now, if somebody break into your house and you happen to shoot them because they broke into your house, okay, well, you can get cleared for the actual, somebody coming in trying to rob you, but then they're going to turn around and get you for being a
Yes.
felon with a firearm.
Yes, exactly. And Heather Moe says it right here. It affects the felons as the felon's family as well. The wife can't even have a handgun in the house now, which puts the entire family in danger.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So if they sitting here doing all these different, gun laws and all this other stuff, keep making it stricter, and they're actually trying to keep you from getting a gun in the first place. That's really what they're trying to do.
Mhm.
So, why not go back and rethink that one? You know what I mean? At least put a statute of limitation on it.
I
You know what
agree with that.
If you go past 10 years, you're fine. You know what I mean? If you go past 7 years, you're fine. You know what I mean? At least put some kind of stipulation on it, because if you can get your voters' rights back after you get out of jail, why can't you get your gun rights back?
You should be able to
after
get
you
your
out?
normal human rights back at that point. You served your
Exactly.
time, you did your debt. Listen, man, it's done. That's the way it should
Exactly.
be.
It's
But
not fair. It's like you actually setting people up
to fail forever.
because
Yes.
it's like something that you got to carry with you forever,
Yes.
based on something that you may have done when you was 18, 19 years old. Now 35, 40, 50 years old, and you still got that stigma that I'm a man of this house, but I can't defend my family if I needed to.
Mhm.
Or if I do, then I'm gonna go to jail and I'm still not gonna be able to take care of my family because somebody wanted to come in and mess with mine, and I had to do what I needed to do. But then they're gonna turn around and get me for doing what I needed to do. You know what I mean? So I think that particular part there should definitely be looked at. It should definitely be. You can put something to it, put some kind of a statute of limitation to that. You know what I mean? Because if
It'd
I
be
can
nice.
go right, because if I
They're not
can
gonna do
vote,
that.
I can do everything else. You know what I mean? The Second Amendment gives me the right to bear arms. It does not
Right.
say if I go to prison that I can no longer
Mhm.
be considered a citizen. That's not what that means. Especially being the fact now you have, like right now, we got this whole migrant crisis going on, right?
Yes.
How is it that migrants can have firearms and not get in trouble?
Mhm. Good question.
How is it? How can they have firearms and not get in trouble?
And not get in trouble?
You're not actually a citizen of the United States. How can you have a firearm in the United States and not get in trouble?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's radical that they wouldn't get in trouble and get deported right then and there. Of course.
Mhm. Watch this. Watch this.
Judge in Illinois just ruled illegal immigrants have the right to keep and bear arms. Police arrested an illegal immigrant living in Chicago with a gun back in 2020. They charged him for violating the federal law banning illegal immigrants from having guns. It's been on the books for a long time. Should I be shocked that an Obama appointee found a gun control law that she didn't like?
No. This whole push towards expanding the deference to the Second Amendment, in some ways, has kind of come full circle here, where something that really seems counterintuitive, the idea that someone who's not here legally still has that right, and you can't use this particular statute, which is commonly known as the felon in possession statute. But the way it's written, she really zeroed in on the language. And the gray area, of course, is whether or not his status, and frankly, I think the way he was using the gun calls a little bit into question, how peaceful he is.
Mm.
So how is that? So you can have someone. So you can have someone that committed a felony 20 years ago and cannot have a firearm, but you mean to tell me that you can have people that's in this country that is not a U.S. citizen and they can carry firearms and it's okay?
Right. Yep. I think they found the correct exact loophole they needed. That's crazy.
Could I do some of this? You guys are getting way ahead of me right now. Okay.
Bring it.
Let me go back to some of the things you guys were expressing earlier. A convicted felon and possession of a firearm is called having a weapon under disability. That's the law. Now, in my area, you'd have to keep your record squeaky clean for at least 10 years. The court was the group who took your rights away. So you'd have to go back to court to get your rights back. You'd have to file for either a pardon or having your record sealed. You'd have to do one of the two to try to start to get your gun rights back. And that could get expensive. Now, they say you can go file, if you know the right paperwork to file, you can file it yourself, and it will cost you under $200. But in my area, the average fee is $3,500 to have an attorney file the same paperwork and try to fight to get your rights back.
Right. My thing right there. Why is it that I would have to pay $3,500 to get something back that I've already paid my debt for?
Right. It's already done.
Right. It's already done. You done got me.
I gotta reset my camera real quick.
Me for. I done spent my time. You done already got me for that. So what is it that I got to come back and give a lawyer $3,500, $4,000, or whatever? For what?
To try to get your gun rights back. And it has to be a non-violent felony. If it was a violent felony, you're wasting your money and time even trying.
I mean, but why shouldn't it just be automatic?
Yeah, it should be automatic as soon as you paid your debt. They tell you this is how long it is you have to be punished. All right. So after you're punished, why is it that it's now used against you in your second part of this whole ordeal, which shouldn't be a second part? It should only be you serving your time and then getting out and you are done. You finished. What's up with this whole record thing that gets us so caught up on the back end of getting in trouble with the law? Is that fair?
That's where you get into morals and the laws don't mix. What you think is morally right has nothing to do with the laws that are on the books. You have to change those laws on the books. Now, in my area, you may not be able to own a regular firearm, but a convicted felon, I'm told, is allowed to own a pepper ball gun, and he can also own a black powder gun or black powder pistol. But,
really?
Yeah. In my area, it is. That's what I've been told.
You mean like a muzzle loader?
Yeah,
a
like
muzzle
we're
loader.
sitting there
Uh,
actually pounding it in, you know,
Who the hell gonna
loading
do
up.
all
Yeah, we're
this?
putting the gunpowder into the barrel, you know.
Right.
Remember
Hold on.
the early revolvers that the Cowboys had with black powder, and you put the ball in it and press it down. That
Right.
type
The
of
little
six
cap
shooter,
on it.
5 shooter,
Mhm.
you'd be allowed to have. You'd be allowed to have a pepper ball gun, but until you win your rights back, like I said, morals and the laws don't mix.
Mm.
What you emotionally feel is right, what you morally feel is right. It only matters what's on the books.
Mhm. And you know what? That's the problem with this country right now, because their moral compass is fucked. That's the problem. That's the
You said
problem.
it.
You make rules to get at certain people
Yes.
instead of making rules that apply to everyone.
Everyone. Yes. No, it's targeted.
So you singling these people out. Now these are the same people though that, like, this time of the year, you need these people to come in there and vote for you. You need these people to come vote for you. But these also the same people that have went years upon years with the same thing on their back for the rest of their life, unless I go pay somebody else to file some paperwork and try to get me out of it. As you know, it's a money game. You know what I mean? That should be automatic. You know what I mean? If I can get my right to vote back when I walked out that jail,
Should be everything now.
my gun rights back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
I
mean?
gotta agree.
So, okay, so let me ask. This is funny and it's way off. It's way off topic. But okay. So we got this whole election thing going on, right? Now, you know, they still got the situation going on with Trump because he had all those felonies and whatnot. Now, you know, a lot of times you hear them when they talking about it, they talking about, oh, that was white collar crime, felonies, which I didn't think it was a difference between a white felony and a black felony. Felony's a felony.
Hmm.
Can he keep his gun?
Mm-hmm.
You asking me that question?
Didn't he
If-
ship
Can he
it?
keep his,
Didn't-
can he keep
didn't he
his
ship
gun?
it?
It's a felony conviction. He's not allowed to have a gun in his possession. Now he can hire a bodyguard staff to protect him, but he's not allowed to have a gun in his possession.
But didn't he
So
ship his down to Florida?
I don't know. I can't
Did he what?
answer. That, 'cause I
Didn't
don't
he
know.
ship his? Didn't he ship his firearm to Florida? Trump.
I mean, he could
You
have
said he
sent it to
shipped his
another
firearm to
relative.
Florida?
Yes, he shipped it to Florida. Yes.
Okay. But my question is, can he have a firearm?
No, he can't have access to it. I mean, if his felony conviction holds up and he don't win no appeals, he can't have he can't have a
Well,
firearm.
are we talking about? Okay, well, yeah, I'm going to let you go.
I'm asking this for a reason, because you know I was just talking about
Of course.
people with felonies that can't, and I'm bringing this to kind of bringing it to fruition now,
Sure.
as to more up close and personal. So you mean to tell me that this man here can consequently be the next leader of the free world, but can't have a firearm?
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
He doesn't need one. He's got the whole United States military that he'll be
Yeah.
commanding.
That made no difference.
But he's
make no
got the
difference.
control, so
He's the
he can kill. He can
commander-in-chief.
kill somebody. He can kill some. What he's getting at is he can kill somebody whether he's at the president now, because you know he's got the buttons and he can do anything, and kill anybody he wants. Just like if you were to have that firearm yourself,
Right.
you know what I mean?
right.
That you can make those decisions. And I understand what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I can do all that. I can order drone strikes. I can I can order them to come and hit every country in this world. But I can't put a gun in my pocket.
Right. Yeah. No, that is ridiculous.
That don't make sense. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
it's
That don't
ridiculous.
make sense.
Absolutely. It's ass backwards for real.
That's the point I'm making.
Got
That's
you.
the point I'm making. So if he wins, Is he going to do an executive order saying, okay, well, all felons can get a gun? Because he could do that.
He theoretically could.
All felons can get a gun now.
Yeah.
Take that off of every application ever. You know what I mean? Like, don't even ask that no more. Don't even ask it. It ain't your business.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't your business. I mean, now how could you put it? In a world that, like you said, you know, I mean, morals and laws are different things, but in a world that was built on, and this country was supposed to have been built on morals and standards, and the opportunity to be able to live your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. You have that right. But you can't tell me that, okay, this don't apply here, but it applies to 15 million felons in this country. But it don't apply here. Can't tell me that. You have to change something. Something has to be changed there. You gotta put something in play. You know what I mean?
Well, I can tell you something that's even easier to understand when it comes to morals and laws. I'm gonna use myself as an example. Everybody knows that I'm into prepping, which means I'm also an avid gardener. I try to be as self-sufficient as I can. I grow a garden every year, and I eat the food that I raise. Well, just say somebody climbs my fence and goes back there and they're stealing my stuff, or they're tearing my plants out. Instinctively, I'd want to go out there with a firearm. I'm going to tell you right now, I can't take a BB gun out there. I can't take a paintball gun out there. Both of them would be non-lethal, and pound that sucker without ending up in jail behind it. Because if he calls the police first, he's the victim. I'm the perpetrator. It don't matter he was on my property. There was no imminent threat or no imminent danger to me. And the law says I don't have a right to go out there and do anything about it. I can tell them, get off my property. That's about the best I can do. I take any action, and they're going to sue the hell out of me and also try to put me in jail. My moral ability to want to defend my property does not preclude or take authority over the laws that are on the books that I can't lay a hand on that sucker. That's the reason why some of the people that are stealing a Walmart, they raise the threat of a felony to $1,000. So now all the criminals, I can steal up to almost $1,000, and they can't do nothing but hit me with a misdemeanor, and they can't even touch me to stop me from leaving with it.
But right. What about those states that have stand your ground laws?
Stand your ground, that means that you're almost having to defend yourself. You're in your property. In my area, you had to leave. If there was an opportunity, if they're coming in the front door and you got an opportunity to go out the back door, you had to leave. Now I don't have to leave, but I'm only allowed, according to the law in the books here, I'm only allowed to use the force that is both reasonable and necessary to stop severe bodily harm against myself or loved one, or stop loss of life. Only the use of force that is reasonable and necessary. So if I shoot around you and you stop, I don't have a right to empty a gun on you because I missed the first two shots.
Right, and you can't hit him in the back either.
You sure can.
No, absolutely. And real quick, I just got to give a little shout out. We got Beezer the Biker with a $5 donation, man. I appreciate it, man. Saying buying a beer for my non-violent felons or keeping it for yourself. Hey, man, I appreciate you, my man. It's going to go to the beer fund. You know that?
So if you busted my door and I blow your kneecaps out, then that's we good.
You, as long as there was imminent danger and imminent threat, he done breached your door.
And if you came in the house, you know what I mean? I done blew your kneecaps out.
Right. It's reasonable to assume if he breached your door, he has a tool, a weapon, or something that he used to get through your door. So that poses imminent danger. You have a right to defend yourself. But you don't have your right to take a life in the event it's over a material object.
So real
Good.
quick, Stephen does say something. I don't mean to cut you off, Aaron, but he wanted this answered. He goes, "What about the mentally ill person, Aaron, Archbishop, and Mike?"
That's someone that's under mental disability, and that would also preclude them from owning a gun. Once the court ruled them mentally disabled,
Then
they're
it's
not allowed
over.
to own a firearm. And even
Right.
some people that have what do they call that? Where you batter your wife? Hey,
Domestic violence,
that's it. That's it.
DV.
If the
Mhm.
domestic violence is bad enough, you lose your gun rights there too.
Yep, that is true. Mhm.
Mm.
Anything that is
Oh.
violent, it can be a risk at losing it all. Yeah.
Right.
But just keep
right.
in mind, the majority of the laws that start with the word aggravated, in my opinion, those are designed to protect the criminals. If you come up and you spit on me and I sucker punch you and you call the police first, you can get me for aggravated assault and battery, even though you spit on me first. You were just whoever calls the police first is the victim. And the whole aggravated
Wouldn't they figure that out on
on
the back end in court though? When they realize eventually, like, hey, in court, like, hey, you got the wrong guy. Obviously, it's evident. I was right. You know what I mean? It'll all be shown off. What happened? That's what I would think, anyways.
Well,
Like, hey,
They
I
don't
was
give a
the
damn.
correct guy. Like I was the guy that was actually the victim. So I know that I can go through this and win. But
look at the
Don't give a
offensive
damn.
tackle. Look at the offensive tackle from the NFL that's retired, that was on the plane that flew this week from New York to London, and they had to turn around the plane halfway back because he got into it with a 70, 80-year-old woman. Now this is a big guy, and he stands up, walks up to her, whips out his junk, and he's peeing on her, sprinkling it up and down her body for 20 or 30 seconds. And then somebody says something, some old man says something to him for doing it. He's walking back to his seat and he slaps the old man in the head. Now, you're not allowed to have a weapon on a plane, okay? But I would have took my belt off, stuck that little part that goes in the hole of the leather belt up between my fingers, and eyes, throat, and groin area, I've been going for it. And they would have arrested me for that. And this guy just pissed on me. The only thing that old lady and that old man could do is probably try to take a court action. But the guy went to court and the judge let him go on a $2,400 bond. That's a slap on the wrist. I mean,
Pissing on
the guy
an old lady.
really peed on him. I mean, it's in the news. I mean, you can look that up.
right.
And this is a guy that was an offensive tackle in the NFL. I mean, what could she do with him? Nothing. And you can't have a weapon. But I mean, how many people could sit there and take that and not respond?
Okay, so what if he called the police first and was like, "Hey, this lady did."
He didn't have a case. He was so
Now it's a woman
intoxicated.
versus man bullshit.
Yeah.
Now you're screwed.
He was so intoxicated that they finally got him off the plane. But like I said, they had to turn the plane around, go all the way back to New York, so you can bet the airport's going to sue him.
Oh, you're fucked. You're fucked.
And then there'd be some of the people on there who may have had to be at a meeting or something. They're going to sue. He's going to wish he didn't take them drinks and use some better judgment than to do something that's stupid. But people will do ignorant stuff.
But hell, he was over 300 pounds. Shit, it took him a while to find that son bitch anyway. So I'm just saying. I mean, ain't like he just automatically shit just whipped right out. You know what I mean? He had to search for that son bitch a little bit.
And let me address this issue too, because I want to bring this out. I know you wanted to bring it up, Bishop, but it needs to come out right now. The charge of first-degree murder. Okay. Anytime someone's family member gets hurt or killed, that's the first thing that they want to charge them with. They tell the prosecutor, I want you to charge that person with first-degree murder. I want him to get the maximum. Let me tell you the problem with charging first-degree murder. You just made it to where the prosecutor has to prove premeditation
Now you're
Did,
screwed on that aspect.
did Aaron get up this morning and plan to go kill Mike Ball?
Has to be planned, and it has to be proven that it's
You
planned
hear,
somehow.
right. And when you hear some of these people get let off on the charges, it's because you cannot prove
Prove it.
premeditation.
Right. So you would have been better off going for second or third.
Now,
sure.
this is just an observation, but the cop that shot the woman in the face, that over that pot of boiling water, when he said, "You do it, I'm gonna shoot you in the face," once you think the thought, and he made it clear, and it's on
already,
tape.
now it's over.
Now it's premeditation.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have said nothing, and they would have came after him with first-degree murder. It'd been a hard-pressed thing to prove that he came to that house specifically to kill that woman. But when he said, "You do it, and I'm gonna shoot you in the face," now he had time to think about it. Now he indicates premeditation. So when you ask a prosecutor to go after someone for a specific charge, you better be careful if you ask for first-degree murder. They can get manslaughter, they can get some other things on them that they don't have to prove premeditation.
Right.
But if you ask for the max and you want first-degree murder, if the prosecutor don't prove it, they got to let him go.
Interesting.
Now, don't they have an insurance that you can get that way? Like if you I mean,
right?
Like I said, if I bust somebody in the kneecaps and they
now
go
it can be
and they
brought
try
down.
to arrest me, isn't there insurance that you can get that will get me a lawyer or whatever?
Yes. Let me stop laughing for a second here. It's you guys cracking me up tonight. It's liability gun insurance, firearm liability insurance is what it is. You have different companies like USCCA, you have Law Shield, you have CCW Safe. There's many companies out there, and probably your own insurance company may have a policy for that. Now, the media has nicknamed it murder insurance because they claim that people want to be able to get away with killing somebody, so they buy this insurance. No, that's insane for them to even come at it from that attitude. Anyone that wants to be a responsible gun owner, knowing that in this day and time, if you use a firearm in self-defense, the people's family is going to sue you. Used to, you had to win the criminal in order to launch the civil and actually win it. Now, it don't matter. If you use a gun in self-defense and you kill that perpetrator, that family is going to come after you, and they're going to try to get you for wrongful death and any other thing that they can sue you for. This protects you if you use force in a reasonable and good faith manner. It will give you protection against these frivolous suits that it only costs $35 for someone to file a suit against you and keep you from having to pay a bunch of expensive attorney fees. I mean, having this is like having car insurance, homeowners insurance, health insurance. You hope you never have to use it, but if you do, it's there to protect you. And some of the things that you want to get into with it is, one, if you don't have a criminal attorney already, and the majority of people don't, you want to know who the criminal attorney is. Then you want to check the policy and see what coverage is it offering you. Now, there's some of them, from what I read, that if you're charged with a felony, you'll get full coverage plus attorney fees. But if the court drops it down to a fourth-degree misdemeanor or something, then the policy won't cover you and won't cover the attorney fees.
Now you're screwed with the bag.
Right. And so you want to know these things as you buy the policy. They're not super expensive. I mean, USCCA, I think, has a policy for about $160, $180 per year on the cheap one, and the more expensive ones like $250 for a whole year of coverage. And I mean, yeah, and it's cheap, man. I mean, considering the thousands or millions of dollars they could try to sue you for, including hospital bills and things. I mean, this is a godsend to be able to protect the law-abiding citizen from these criminals that's going to try to take any advantage they can to get at you.
Well, see,
So,
that's why I
but
kept saying shoot the man in the kneecap. See, that's why I keep saying that. See, because I'm not gonna kill him.
Right. You're
You know what
not
I mean?
purposely trying
I'm
to
not
kill
gonna
the
kill
dude.
him. See,
Mhm.
see, now hear me out. Like I said,
okay,
I done thought of this. Okay. I've thought about this numerous times because I want somebody to break in my shit. I've thought
Mhm.
about it. So it will be premeditated because I've thought about it. I've been thinking about it for years. I want somebody to break in my shit. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. They're gonna
Mhm.
come in the door. I'm gonna be sitting right there on the couch. As soon as they walk in, blasting kneecaps, right? Then I'm gonna call the cop and tell them to come on over here. The reason why I say I'm gonna blast them in the kneecaps, because I'm gonna stomp the shit out of them until the cop get here. You know what I mean? So you can take and sue whatever you want. Better yet, tell you what you do. While you sitting there, pick you out something nice out the house. I don't got shit anyway. Pick you out something nice. And then when you get better, you come on back. I have it ready for you. You can just take that shit on home. You ain't about to sue me for shit. But in the meantime, though, in between time, number one, you ain't have no kneecap. Number two, you ain't gonna never break in nobody else's shit again. Because, like I said, I done stomped your ass to sleep before the police came. That's why I keep saying I'm shooting you in the kneecap. Because I don't want to just kill you. See, that's some easy shit. I don't want to just kill you. I want to shoot you in the kneecap and beat the shit out of you. And then while you're in the hospital, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about you walking in somebody's house that you should not have been in. And what happened to you. Because one thing you need to understand is that every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yes.
Anything that you do may come back at you equally, or if not
If not more.
than what you've done.
That's right.
So even with the ones that's out here that may be listening to this, if you decide you're gonna break in somebody's house, realize what it is you asking for before you break in it. Because somebody may be thinking just like I am and gonna stomp the shit out of you. I'm done with that.
okay.
Go ahead.
I do want to add, I want to re-emphasize, it must be a reasonable and good faith use of force. This is defense coverage. It's not murder coverage. You can't take your gun and go rob the bank and you done shot 2 or 3 people and they're going to sue. That it's not going to cover you under that condition. Both reasonable and good faith use of force is what it is. And in my opinion, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and don't have it in this day and time. Because people are sue crazy anymore. So
Oh yeah.
I'll stop.
I mean, but that's just
stop there.
crazy though. How you do something, you break in somebody's house or you steal the car or whatever you do. Okay. So you the one that's out here stealing. You get dealt with, and then you want to sue me for dealing with you. You know what I mean? When if you'd have stayed away from my house or away from my stuff, none of this would even took place. You know what I mean? And why would a court, by any means, sit there and say, okay, well, you got to pay this man for beating him up when he broke in my house? You know what I mean? Like I literally caught this man in my living room with a bag, putting my shit in the bag, and I got it. I don't know who he is. You know what I mean? I got wife and kids here. You know what I mean? I'm protecting my home. So now you mean to tell me that I got to turn around and I got to pay him? Okay, well, since you already got that in your mind automatically that, this man 9 times out of 10, either him or his family going to try to take you to court and get a couple dollars out of you, whatever, because he wanted to do something stupid, which takes me back to what I said before, stomp the shit out of him while you got the chance. So at least if you're going to pay him, at least you got something out of that shit before you had to pay him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, if you're gonna get sued, you're saying if you're gonna get messed up with money, you might as well sue
Right.
for a real
Right.
reason
Right.
at this point.
Right, like, okay, you're going to get me anyway. but
You're
I'ma get
already
you
gonna
first.
get me. Yeah.
Right, I'm
So
gonna get your
I
ass
got
first,
you
though.
no matter what. Yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna get you first. So we're gonna go
That's
on bag
hilarious.
you on out, get this on over with.
I'm gonna get this out of the
And
way.
like I said, you can deal with me later on. You know what I mean? We can go ahead.
So
go on,
so
take
the
me to
ones
court,
in the
whatever you wanna do.
kneecaps, when you go bam bam, right? That's for you breaking in. Now, when you stomp his ass, that's not for breaking in now. This is now for the future of the BS that I may find myself in with your dumbass for coming into my house.
Right.
Right.
See, the stomping is for, okay,
It's a 2-tier system here.
you came in the wrong house. You know what I'm saying? You should have went next door. You know what I mean? You came in the wrong house. I'm gonna shoot you in your kneecap for breaking in. I'm gonna stomp your ass for being stupid and coming into my house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So 2-part thing. So like I said, you already gonna get me anyway later on. You know what I mean? Police may come and get me too. Be like, okay, well, why'd you shoot him and beat him? Well, because he kept moving. I told him to stop. He kept moving. So
That's
I
right.
took him to boot camp. You know,
Took him to boot camp.
right. I mean, I ain't gonna punch him. I'm going. He's going to boot camp.
Now, it's interesting you said that, Bishop, because according to the FBI statistics, criminals that break in homes that get shot, 90% of them don't ever do it again. So there's only 10% that's still bold enough to carry forward with it. But also, I want to mention one other time, and I don't know if I'm using the right term here, in which you can use deadly force. And I'm going to use the term preclusion. And basically, what you're doing is you're taking action against someone that you observe that is getting ready to do severe bodily harm or possibly take the life of someone that cannot defend themselves. Now, what falls under that category, people can't defend themselves, bedridden people, elderly, children, handicapped, they all fall under that category. So if you saw it and you came to the aid, that would be another time that you'd be able to use deadly force. But again, the force must be both reasonable and necessary to stop someone's offensive ability. But then I would like to mention one last thing that's a problem. Well, there's actually 2 things. That's a problem with constitutional carry. And again, one falls under lack of education. And then the other one is just a misnomer. And that is, they don't know the general safety rules. And rule number 1 is you treat all firearms as if they're loaded. If someone hands you a gun to show it to you, you assume it's got a round in the chamber. Second, you don't point that gun at anything you don't plan on destroying. Third, you keep your finger off the trigger. This finger right here, that's your index finger. Your trigger finger is your index finger. When you hear someone use the term indexing, that means you grab the gun, but your finger stays outside the trigger well. And you don't put your finger on that trigger until you've made a conscious decision
to do
that you're going to shoot whatever it is in front of you. And then the last thing is you must know your target and you must know what's behind it, because you're responsible for where that bullet flies if you get a shoot through situation. So you better know what's behind it. And if there's innocent people back there, it's probably best not to take the shot unless you have no other choice. But always know your target and always know what's behind it. That's the 4 basic rules of general safety in using a firearm. And then the last thing, which is the wrong assumption most people make, and that is, I'm a convicted felon. I can't pass a background check, so I'm just going to go ahead and constitutional carry.
No.
If you cannot legally own that and possess that firearm, you will go to jail when they catch you with that gun. But I'm going to go ahead and stop there.
That was some education right there, you guys. You guys just laid down the whole topic of, all of it. I love that. This was a really good topic, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we had to get through. I mean, this one right here was like something that needed to be talked about, being the fact that, I know like here in Florida, they passed a new law, basically doing constitutional carry. And people were getting it mixed up. It was like, oh, now everybody can do this. Like, nah, technically you can't. So we kept sitting here talking about this over and over and over again for the longest, different people. So this one was like, okay, let's talk about this. You know what I mean? Just so that everybody could get a clear understanding that's exactly what it is and what you can and cannot do So that way you don't get hemmed up. You know.
Right. I mean, we talk and preach about being prepared and understanding, you know, being in tune with everything. And so we cannot be telling you to be prepared without actually letting you know some further things, like a firearm is absolutely a tool that will keep you alive. So absolutely, we're going to let you guys know the differences and the different laws that we can find and all this stuff, that all the information we've got, we're able to put up to you guys. So, you know, this was a great topic, you guys. This was a good one.
Yeah. So we've been on here, what, an hour and a half?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to go ahead and
Do our sign-offs.
put a closing on this. Like I said, we do it just like we always do it. I appreciate everybody that's came on. Before you leave, I ask you to please like, share, follow, hit the little thumbs up sign on whatever platform that you own. Hit the like button, because that's what we need to keep this circulating. That way it hits the right algorithm and be able to spread out. Share the video to a friend. Share it to anyone. I mean, at least send it to one person. Hit the share button, send it to one person. Let them look at it. I mean, it's the more you learn, the better you are. You know, so like I said, I appreciate each and every one of you every single week for coming in, joining us, the new ones that's coming on now, that's hitting the chat lines that haven't been on before. Appreciate you being on here. And keep tuning in, because we're gonna keep pushing this every week. So I'm gonna let Aaron say his thing, and then Mike, you can go ahead and close it out.
In owning a gun comes great responsibility. Learn to safely handle that firearm. Learn use of force, proper use of force. Learn some of the local laws in your area so you don't get yourself in trouble in case you have to use it. Learn to be able to clean and maintain that weapon properly as well. Go to the range, practice, practice, practice. Keep your gun secured in a safe place and not out in your car. Have it secured in the house so if someone breaks in your house, they're not out there on the street running around using your gun to commit crimes with. You don't need that kind of aggravation in your life. And I'm going to say, stay prepped, stay safe. And I'm going to let it go there, Bishop.
Well, guys, I cannot thank you guys enough. Everybody here was on point tonight. I love to hear, you know, things that we can prepare on, get more educated on. And just like Archbishop said, you know, don't be afraid to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that share is a huge thing, guys. You guys don't even understand. It is like word of mouth on the street, but for the internet. So it's very much appreciated when you guys do that. You know, the thing is we jam-pack this full of facts, and we jam-pack this full of education. So it's not like you're sending this out as just entertainment value. This can actually help you and yours. So it means the world when you guys do that. Thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us during the Diamond Effect, as we always do every single Wednesday night. Very much appreciate it. Also, big shout out to Beezer for the shout out, man. I very much appreciate it. You know, that's going to go to some good beer. You know what I mean? For the next episode. With that being said, everybody, I very much appreciate you all. Much love, loyalty, honor, and respect. And we'll see you guys on the flip side. Much love.
They're back.